We're back. So obviously, Geo Video. I mean, you see the character on the screen, and I got my homie Classified here. So what's up?
Hello, thank you for having me. I appreciate it.
Nah, no worries. Thank you for coming on. So I think Geo is pretty easy to talk about, but also pretty hard at the same time. I think she's definitely I mean, if you would agree, the most basic character, like very easy to understand, very straightforward character.
Yeah,
But
I think she's definitely one of the easiest to pick up for sure.
yeah, I think so as well. I think she has all the tools, and it's weird for how people talk about her and how good the tools she has is so good, but yet like when it comes to character strength, she's not put at like the highest. So I guess I'll start off with just basic Geo. So where do you think, obviously the most like popular part about Geo is probably her movement, the footsies game, the neutral game. So talk to me about that. What makes her neutral so strong?
The dash is just so broken. Like, it really is a teleport, honestly. Like, and it's not like it's almost like it's like Johnny Dash, but she can block. Obviously,
Yep.
it's not as fast, but it's just so like the dash accentuates everything else. Like this 5K is just like kind of standard, but with the dash, it's super broken. And like this far slash would be trash, but now all of a sudden I can teleport and you're blocking wild call.
Yep.
Like the dash is just what really puts it all together and it makes her really, really impressive.
Okay.
And then actually too, I'm sorry, yeah, I did want to talk about 2D. I think this button alone is also like half of her neutral. I think this button's really, really, really broken. Even after it got nerfed, I think it's really good.
Yes, it did get nerfed a while back, which I think most people actually forgot. But the button used to be even better.
It's still crazy. Like,
What about in terms of Red Wall Assault? So obviously she has it, but as you know, with the patch, latest patch, characters lost a hard knockdown on it. How much did that affect her? Because it's weird because it obviously hurt a lot of characters. It hurt more than but she's a character that her neutral game is so good. So was it that bad for her to lose it? And now that characters are returning to neutral more because obviously they're breaking the wall with a button instead of Wild Assault. So how bad was that nerf?
Overall, it's probably a net change or a net positive for her.
Okay.
But I don't think it affects her too much actually, because she gets better against characters, but the characters she gets better against she's returned to neutral, like she kind of already beat them. It doesn't really matter. I think the only place it matters is versus Chaos and Asuka, because she can't hit them once and win the game. But most matchups it doesn't matter because her neutral is so good anyway that she prefers going back to neutral on their hit more than she likes snowballing them.
Gotcha. And obviously with the patch as well, with the removal of hard knockdown wall, so we also got the change to DPRC. So I feel like that was a really big change, especially like when fighting Geo. So talk to me about how much that affected her matchups for characters with DPs.
I think this is kind of unpopular for like. I have a different opinion than other Geo players. I think it's actually not that great for her overall. Like DPRC, obviously, but I think her not being able to throw DPs is worse than her dealing with DPRC, except for against Leo.
Okay.
Actually. Yeah. Because her only way to beat DPs is with throw. Like that's all she does. Other characters she's a striker character, and now every single knockdown she has to guess between a DP or like whatever else. And the one problem is that her safe jumps, like if I do this will safe jump every time, but you can FD the safe jump and then DP afterwards anyway. So it's kind of like the same RPS but worse pressure for her against like every character except for Leo. So I kind of think it's not that fun this patch, honestly, to play against DPs.
Okay.
Yeah.
So it feels actually a little worse in your opinion.
Yeah.
Okay.
For sure. Like I think dealing with Soul is definitely harder this patch because DP change, in my opinion.
Okay. Looking at Geo's kit, obviously she has the 4-framer, she has the scary neutral like we were saying, high damage. It seems like she has everything. So let me ask you, what do you think keeps her out of being in that top tier? Because I feel like it's been maybe since the changes to, I know she got some damage nerfs a while back. I believe that was at the start of, a little after the start of season 3.
It was the 3.5.
Yeah, but it seems like, I don't know, it seems like on paper, especially to a lot of people, this character has everything. She does everything. She doesn't struggle in neutral, good damage, 4-framer. You know, what is gatekeeping her?
There's like 2 kind of bigger problems and then a few small ones. Her main problem this patch is DP characters, honestly, because this knockdown got nerfed. So like,
no more
that used to give me a
knockdown.
safe jump every time. Used to give me a good safe jump. Yeah, and then obviously this is super broken, but it doesn't work against DPs because you can react every time. So, and then also there's a few other things like 5K is really broken, but her only frame trap option that beats fast mashes is 6P, and this button is -9, so you can punish it with DP every time.
Yeah.
You know, so it's pretty bad against knife and DP characters. Like her whole game plan gets worse. It's not impossible, but it's definitely worse. And then her other flaw, her pressure's super broken, but it's kind of linear.
Yeah.
So if you're playing a really good player that's good against Geo, it's kind of scary to like end on this, and like you kind of have to gamble on this sometimes. So she can lose games, especially against characters like Happy Chaos or characters like Golduus that will win the game from making you block a 2P, and you have to end on a -4 move every time, or you know, something like that. It can be difficult because you can not lose from your offense, but you definitely have to gamble a little more against people who are good against her.
Got you. Okay.
I think those are the big 2 issues.
Okay. And I feel like one thing, I guess kind of touching on the ending in that, you know, the spiral kick, she is, like you said, -4 there, but there's a lot of RPS that I think a lot of people hate to play.
Yeah.
I know one thing you and Nitro do very well is you guys always try to steal back your turn. Talk to me about the RPS here in a bit.
It changes with or without meteor. The first thing I will say is that it's actually punishable on IB if you're close.
Okay.
Every character in the game can do IB dash throw to her, which is not a lot of people know it, but is really, really, really important versus her, I think, actually.
Okay.
And then aside from that, if you don't IB, the main RPS is like she can steal her turn with 2K, or she can back off. Those are the main 2 options, and then she can also jump against some characters depending on who you're playing against.
Yeah.
And then she can also do like dash 5K. A good baseline is like if you have a button that beats mash and backdash, obviously press it. But then that button will usually use the 6P. So you're kind of gambling between like, do I beat her staying close or do I just chase her backdash? I think usually it's fine to let her backdash away and gamble on like if you counter hit 2K, a lot of characters can kill her there. If they have good set play, like Johnny will kill her there if I'm wrong. And if I backdash, like we kind of just go back to here, which is not great for you, but you don't get hit. It's not that bad.
Okay. And I guess the next thing I'll ask, so I don't think many people know this, but Geo obviously is a character she changes with the more meter she has. As you see now, she's glowing, but if she doesn't have the 100 bar, she's back to herself. So, obviously, when she has 100 in the form, she does chip damage, right? Correct?
She does chip damage, and she also does do more damage and takes less damage as well.
Yes, so she turns into, I believe she has the same health as Potemkin when she has 100 bar.
With 2 bars she does.
And also when she, I think it's when she passes 50 meter, right? She starts doing chip damage.
Yeah.
Those things are so, I don't think a lot of people know, especially, maybe at the higher level people know, but the more casual scene kind of just skips over it, so talk to me about how important that is to her kit, or does it, because I think chip damage is the one thing people, like, forget when they fight Geo. Like, I think it's bigger than most people think, so talk to me about it a bit.
Yeah. I think, like, for the chip damage thing, you don't see it come up that often until you're, like, at the point where it'll kill you, and then you're like, yo, I just got chipped out by Giovanna doing 2S. Like, what happened?
Yeah.
You know? So, like, it's kind of hard to track, for one. I think the actual bigger thing is the damage and defense buff are pretty good for her. Because, like, even at high level, you'll see a lot of people, like, I know, you'll see TY end in this, and he'll just back off, and he'll play the game with 50 meter. And then, like, if you get hit, you die, and it's kind of hard to do damage on him. Like, it's good to save meter sometimes, because the buff actually does affect her gameplay, and affects, like some hits won't kill her when she has the buff, and then all of a sudden you get one touch, you win the game, you know, like, stuff like that. So it actually does matter.
Okay. And, yeah, obviously the HP as well. Very tanky, which it's very surprising how tanky she gets, but, you know, it is 100 bar. Yeah, it is 100 bar, though, so it's you know, it's reasonable. I guess the next thing I'll ask, so obviously with Season 3, she got a new move, which obviously changed up her special moves. In your opinion, I'll have you, obviously there's 4 new moves, right? Because it's for each special move. So I'll have you rank which ones you think are the best and to the worst.
The best one, obviously. This is super broken. Like, it's honestly super broken.
Yeah.
If you don't have a DP, like, you kind of just gotta hold that. You get me?
Yeah.
Outside of that, it's kind of like these are combo tools.
Yeah.
Not this one. These are combo tools, and this is a pressure ender. No one uses this except for me and Nitro, but I think it's good. So the order would probably actually be like Arrow and then DP are the best two for sure, because those are like her core gameplay moves now. And then these two are kind of interchangeable right now. Well, no, this one is combo. This one is combo, but this one has more utility outside of combo, in my opinion.
Okay, gotcha. Yeah, the DP obviously. So I think everyone knows about the spiral arrow. I think it's very complained about for characters that just don't have DP. But the DP, obviously, it changes her combo routing from how it did in the different from Season 2. How big is that for her damage?
It's ridiculous, honestly. A character like Giovanna should not be able to combo the way she can, and she's allowed to do it because of DP. Like before, if I hit you with 2S, like nothing happened. Like that's the best I get on normal hit 2S. Now if I hit you with 2S, like you die. You can lose the game off that. You get me? Like on Zato, that's 60% wall break or 60% into arrow, and you lose. You know?
Yeah.
And like her main pokes from neutral. This is a poke. You get hit by this normal hit, 50% through the wall. It's super broken for her, honestly.
Okay. Yeah, no, it's and it got nerfed, which is still crazy.
It got nerfed and it's still broken. That's the crazy part. Like, yeah.
What are some things that people, I guess, what are some things that people misunderstand about Geo? Like, what are things people misunderstand, and what are things that you you do in like Tower, for example, and you're like, oh my gosh, you should be punishing me for this, or you should be at least representing this, or anything you can think of?
Yeah. Well, definitely. If you have a 4-frame, please punish this, please. Like 5 PRC is really good if you have a 4-frame.
Yeah.
That's the main thing. What's misunderstood is I think she's actually not an easy character at high level. I think she's kind of hard to play, and she's pretty intricate. Like she's a very basic character, but you kind of have to know a lot about her, and you kind of have to be good with her to both make her work and to fight against her. I think she's misunderstood in the sense that like people think she's easier than she is, and people don't really understand how she plays the game. They kind of just see her as like this like brawler running at you soul type of character, but I don't think she's like that.
Okay. Yeah, no, that's a good point. So if you had to put her on the difficulty scale, so like you said, you think she's a little harder than you think at like people may give her credit for at a higher level, but if you had to put her in like the tier, so like there's like easy to play, hard to master, like, you know, in the middle, where would you put her on that scale, and then what characters are near there that you think are like in that same like near her in terms of difficulty, just so other people can get an idea?
She's super easy to play for sure. Like she's free to pick up, you know.
Yeah.
Hard to master is interesting. I wouldn't say she's hard to master. It's more just like her ceiling is really high.
No.
And like she's difficult to she's not difficult to win with, I guess, but like you have to know a lot about the game at high level to play her. She's kind of like, I want to say she's similar to Jacko. I play Jacko too, obviously, so I'm biased, but like in the sense that I think Jacko's free but difficult at high level too. Like I think she's kind of just like around that kind of area. I don't really know a character that would fit that except for Jacko. Maybe like Biken. Biken is probably a good you know,
Got you. Okay. And let me ask, so obviously I'm not asking you to put her in a specific spot, but looking at a tier list, obviously you have the top tiers, and then you have the high tiers, or the characters that can win, especially like solo, and then you have like the rest of the cast below that. Where would you put Geo, and what tier would you put her in?
I think she's really close to top tier. She's like just on top tier. I think actually she's kind of underrated this patch for one.
Okay.
And I think she's been underrated for the whole season 3 in my opinion. But I think she's like right under top tier. She might have the potential to be at the edge of top tier, but only because her ceiling is really high. Like, I think someone can get good enough, and her matchups are good enough where she might be able to be in that tier. But like, just character strength alone, she is probably right below that. Like, just the top of high tier, in my opinion.
Okay. And this is kind of a different question, but I remember hearing someone talk about it that characters like Chip and Geo that rely on these K button footsies, the risk reward for them is worse than it ever has been with the addition of Wild Assault. Due to being wrong before, you know, it didn't matter. It did, depending on the character you're fighting, but the risk was way less than it is now. Due to Wild Assault, if they get clipped by something, obviously Wild Assault, blah blah, you're going through the wall. So, talk to me about how much worse you think or better her neutral would be with the Wild Assault in the game, or would it be, you know, how much does Wild Assault affect her as a whole?
Honestly, I think it's like probably net even. She's like, it's not like she's Chip, because Chip will really, like, Chip can lose the game with one hit for sure, and I don't think it's pretty rare for Geo to lose the game just for getting hit once, especially the way she gets hit in neutral.
Yeah.
It's kind of even, because, like, Water Assault is super broken, but it's also, like, she can do this now, you know?
Yeah.
On hit, she can hit him from that. So, she's kind of playing neutral, almost the same. Also true, characters with Water Assault, like, the thing that's broken for them, they swing big poke, and then they confirm things that they usually can't confirm, right? Like Ram r/ Water Assault, that's like a big complaint. But I mean, it's Giovanna, you know, like she's not really complaining about big normals in neutral, you know. Yeah. The normal she's worried about, people usually can't convert into Water Assault. So it's pretty fine for her, honestly. Like, it's not bad.
Okay, for sure. And I guess I'll go back to the well, obviously we talked about the nerf for the DP, the spiral arrow DP too much, but what about another thing that got nerfed was her 5k. I think her 5k has been universally talked about by everyone. I think everyone hates this normal, especially in neutral, but the active frames got reduced from, I believe it was 4 to 2. So was this change very big, or was it like you don't really feel it, or is it more of like you kind of have to play the character to understand how big it is?
It was a big change. I will say, like, I only started picking up Geo start of season 3, so I wasn't like super like, I didn't feel it super hard or anything.
Yeah.
But the normal is so broken, honestly, that I don't think it matters that much.
Okay.
You know?
Okay, so it's
like,
still very
her
good.
dash, yeah, it's still very good. Like, the active frames, it's pain that they got nerfed, but she still counter hit this will still do 50%. It's still an instant traveling move, hard to deal with, low total duration. Like, it's still super good. I think it's still one of the core parts of her game plan, even with the nerf.
Got you. Okay. And what frame, you were doing the dash normal, so what frame can she cancel her dash into it? Is it frame 1?
Yeah, it's frame
1. Okay. And then obviously going into this next patch, you know, it's going to be a major balance patch, so every character will be getting some sort of changes. What do you... I'm not asking... Okay, what do you want? Like, in terms of being realistic, or, you know, what would you want that wouldn't break, like, you know, obviously make her god tier happy chaos, but, you know, what, maybe some quality of life would you want Geo to get that would stabilize her a little more?
There's one thing, actually, that I actually do want, is that I think this should have more horizontal range. Because a lot of hits, that will happen all the time, you know, and even dashing, like, that'll happen, which is pretty annoying.
Yeah.
I think if that was more stable, it just, the quality of life, it'd be good and convenient. Honestly, though, I think she should be nerfed, but so should the rest of the cast, you know, but they're not going to do that, so I'm not going to ask for her to get nerfed.
Yeah, I hear you. I don't think characters will get... Okay, I think there's just so much more bullshit in the game, right?
Yeah,
it's like why are we nerfing Geo when like Soul, like we need to get rid of like Soul or Happy Chaos, right?
Like, I think Geo is too strong for the type of character she is, but she's in Guilty Gear Strive, so it's okay, you know?
Yeah. Okay. Yeah. So, and I guess I'll ask, so obviously, I did this with Scam in the Kai video, but let me ask you, if you had to rate her neutral and her offense on a scale from 1 to 10, let's start with the neutral, since that's what she's most known for. What would you rate that out of 10?
The neutral is like an 8, probably.
8?
It's really good. Yeah, it struggles against some characters, actually, but it's not many. Most characters, it's just like she dominates in ground to ground. Her offense is probably like 7 to 8-ish.
Okay.
Somewhere around there.
Okay, got you.
Actually, probably Nate. I forgot about this move. It's probably Nate.
Yeah, okay. That's in reference, I'll tell you. So the scam video will probably it'll probably be out before this one. But scam, he gave Kai's offense. I think he said on paper it's a 1, but in Strive it's a 4. And then
that's a little crazy.
And then he said his neutral is, I believe he said it was a 7 or 7.5. So yeah, obviously Gio a little more consistent there, but I mean, I'm sure everyone's opinion will change depending on you ask. Any tips you would give to someone picking up Gio? So maybe something you wish you knew when you were learning the character.
Tips for picking up Gio: use this more than you use this. I think is a good start. This is usually better. I'm still like, even now I'm still learning. I should just be doing dash 5k. Dash 5k is more reward, and it's like you see big hit, so you're happy. Yeah. But really, this is better in a lot of situations. So dash 5k, don't underestimate dash 5k. Is the one thing I'd say.
Okay. So dash 5k is just the bread.
It's broken. Like, what can I say? That's her, bro. Like,
yeah, I hear you. Any oh, sorry. Oh my gosh. Now I'm remembering questions I wanted to ask.
Very good.
No, one thing I wanted to ask as well. So you mentioned that matchups like Asuka for and one other character you said got worse because of the wall assault changes, but
yeah, Asuka we see.
Is there any characters, maybe just based off the system mechanics or the changes, that you have played this patch and you're like, ooh, like, nah, like this doesn't feel good. Like, it feels worse than it did before.
I think Soul is worse, actually. Like, because a DP change I do think is worse for Soul. Johnny obviously is worse. She used to be Johnny pretty bad.
Yes.
But it's either even. It's probably even. I can't see her losing to Johnny, but it's probably even. And it's just like, wow, I really got to deal with Johnny now. Those are probably the main two, I'd say.
It's actually so funny that you say Johnny, because when Johnny first came out, and even when he got the dash jump, one person I talked to in the Zalo Discord was Pep, and he would tell me like, yo, Gio, like, worst matchup is horrible. I'd ask all the other Johnny players, yeah, no, that matchup's unwinnable, like, sucks, trash. So it's funny that, like, you're saying, like, yeah, it's probably even now, right? Like,
yeah,
like,
it feels a lot. Like, the dash really is crazy.
Yeah, his dash is crazy. His dash is... Yeah. It's around the same speed as Gio's, right?
I think it's faster, actually. I think it goes farther faster, is what it is.
Is it faster?
I don't know if it's like faster total, but her going that far is definitely slower than Johnny going that far.
Of course. Dang. Danger. Yeah, no, that's crazy. Oh, go ahead.
I will say, like, in my opinion, the reason she beat Johnny so bad last patch was because, like, she could just stand here and he can't do anything, because you can react to him dashing and react to all his buttons and whiff punish him. But now you can't do that. Like, now the whole game plan that Gio had is kind of gone. So it's still fine because her footsies are still really broken, but it's definitely a lot worse this patch.
Yeah, of course. And I bet dash 5k was punishing Misfinder from anyone on the screen before. I'm gonna guess that.
Dash 5H more, but yeah.
I'm gonna guess that the Misfinder range buff kind of makes it a little harder to do so.
It's slightly harder. It's not that important though.
Okay, gotcha. Yeah, no, dang. Okay, well, I do believe that is. Let me I'll put your socials on the screen one more time just so we don't skip over it. But yeah, no, thanks for coming out, and I believe that is everything. Thank you.